All right, next we take you to something that we hope will leave you informed and have you telling and turning around to the people right next to you to give them a bit of information. We're going to be talking a little bit about the weather and what's actually going on. If you're in North India, particularly if you're in the NCR region, it's felt like the winter is acting like that friend who promises to show up but doesn't actually show up in the last minute. No cold waves this Jan, no bone-chilling mornings, no teeth-chattering nights. Today morning was slightly cold, yesterday was also slightly cold, but none of this compares to the kinds of winters we saw in the years past. Daytime temperatures chillingly comfortable between 15 to 26 degrees. At the same time though, we're seeing pollution rear its ugly head. So it's quite confusing. And we thought we should have Shrishti Chaudhary right here to join us and tell us exactly what is going on. So let's just go over to her to understand more. She's our senior assistant editor on News18.com. Shrishti, we need you so badly to shed a light on exactly what is going on here. Just take us very quickly first through what the numbers, let's just focus on Delhi. What the numbers show in Delhi, how bad was this winter? Are we imagining it when we say that it didn't feel that bad? And is winters over yet or not? Is it too early to say? What are the numbers saying?
Well, good morning, Toya. You rightly said, I mean, we really waited for the Delhi winters because Delhi is known for those biting cold conditions, you know, and really cold days. But what happened this time was that, so January is when the winter conditions really peak. But this time we had almost no cold wave days in Delhi, in the national capital. In fact, there were no cold days as well. So the India Meteorological Department declares a cold wave when the temperatures dip at least 4.5 to 6.5 degrees Celsius below normal consecutively for 2 days. However, this time we did not see those conditions, and the temperature, I think the lowest it went around was at about 4.8 to 4.9 degrees Celsius. That was around January 9th when we had intense fog enveloping the entire city. So yes, the winter has been really short and mild. And now coming to that question about whether it's officially over, well, the Met Department says the winter months, last from December to February. But unfortunately, as we are seeing over the last, at least I think over 2 weeks, there is a trend of rising temperatures. You know, like you said, the maximum temperatures during the day are comfortably settling around 15 to 26 degrees Celsius, and even 26 is a bit too high for January. And even the night temperatures, that is the most interesting part, because the minimum temperatures which we record during the night are slightly higher than usual, which we recorded in January. But yes, we are seeing these dense fog conditions, which are blanketing the entire northwest India, including the national capital. Today also, if you see, there is dense fog, and the visibility has come down to about 1,000 meters, in several places. And the forecast suggests that the fog will continue to remain, but unfortunately, the temperatures are indeed rising.
So, can I ask you, Shrishti, year on year, sometimes we see it happen that Jan will play out, and in Feb, we'll suddenly again see a dip back into the winters. And that can be a little confusing. What do the numbers say in terms of predictions for the next few weeks? Will we see a throwback into winter cold at all, or are we safe to say we're out of the worst part of the winters?
Well, to answer that question, Toya, so we go back to the IMD's seasonal forecast for the winter season this year. So they said that the winter is going to be mild and there'll be fewer cold wave days, which we have already seen in December as well as January, not just for the national capital, but for entire northwest India. The week-to-week outlook forecast really changes depending upon the local conditions. So as of now, the weather department has predicted 2 western disturbances. These are these extra tropical storms which originate from the Mediterranean Sea, hit the western Himalayan region and bring winter rainfall and snow. And we just reported how Jammu and Kashmir is witnessing another spell of snowfall. So that is an indication, and that does kind of influence weather across the plains also. But the part here is the temperatures changing over the plains depend upon how the intensity of these western disturbances. So far, we haven't seen a really great spell of rain over Delhi. And it may be over the next few days also we are seeing cloudy weather and maybe a bit, a small spell of light rain or thunderstorm hitting the national capital. So we'll have to really see how the weather really pans out in February. But overall, I can say that the maximum and the minimum temperatures, which include the day and the night temperatures, are expected to be slightly above normal.
Okay.
But let's see how it goes.
So our audiences can turn around, tell the people that they meet today that look, you know, on the Breakfast Club, I was told that the winter does seem to seemingly be over, at least for Delhi. Let's talk a little bit about the Northwest, because you were saying that parts of India are not seeing the same patterns as Delhi are. So you can't say it's a national phenomenon that winter wasn't as harsh. Can you just shed light on that?
Yes. So, the overall weather really differs if we talk about the hilly regions, the mountainous regions like the J&K, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and then if we talk about the plains including Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and the national capital. Now, when I talk about the national capital, like we reported that the lowest temperature we recorded in January was about 4.8 degrees Celsius. It was around the similar in December as well. This time we had no cold wave days, okay. Normally over the last a few years we have seen temperatures dipping to as low as 1.5 degrees Celsius in Delhi, you know, 1.5, 2 degrees Celsius. Last year we saw about 5 cold wave days, you know, the temperatures dipped to less than 3.5. And even before that we saw how it dipped, you know, and we had 8 cold wave days I think in 2023. This time we did not see. In terms of the maximum temperatures also, minimum temperatures also. So this is about Delhi, but when we talk about J&K and Himachal Pradesh, there we have recorded sub-zero temperatures. Also, Toya, I think it's also important for all of us to understand that we are living in a post-warming world. Winters are increasingly becoming warmer every day. 2024 ended as the warmest year on record globally, and also for India we had above normal temperatures all through the year, so there will be some impact. Also, interestingly, this is also disrupting the global patterns. Scientists talk about the El Nino and the La Nina, and we have also talked about that on TBC before. So the La Nina, which is traditionally brings a very harsh winter over Delhi, this time it did not set in at its usual time. It set in around December, late December, January, and scientists are saying that it's going to be short and mild. So when that happens, its conventional winter impacts are not really visible. So that is why the winter is also mild, and that is what the weather department also predicted for India and of course for Delhi. Delhi has a lot of other factors playing in because the pollution levels are also high. So all these conditions tend to really make the weather a very confusing phenomena here.
Shrishti, if we were toddlers and you had to explain it to us, would you say that it's climate change that is once again playing villain here, or can we not make that conclusion?
Definitely. We cannot rule out the impact of climate change. So scientists really do a lot of studies to attribute any event to climate change, but overall they agree that the global warming, which is the rising global temperatures, are influencing weather across the countries. So that is what the impact we are seeing on our winters also. Remember when we were kids and we would go to schools, really, so December used to be very cold. This time we are seeing a lot more sunnier days even till late December and mid-December. So now even over the last 2 weeks, if you see in Delhi, I think after January 18th, the temperatures started rising. They were about like 3.5 to 4.5 degrees Celsius above normal, which is a really bit too high for the national capital. So the winters are definitely getting short. We are seeing very few winter days. So we are living in a post-warming world. In 2024, just to add, the global temperatures were 1.55 degrees Celsius above normal, the annual warming, which is almost hitting the mark that 2015 Paris Agreement was set up. But that is overall. But yes, the climate change or the global warming is definitely influencing how we perceive weather, how we forecast the weather, and it's definitely making our winters short. And this is somewhat disappointing because it doesn't influence just how we live, but it also influences various other factors in the northern states and especially the mountainous regions.
Crop patterns, for example, we were talking about that earlier on the show. Perhaps, Shrishti, the next time you and I meet on air on TBC, we're both going to be in half sleeves. And you're right, it is largely worrying if you take a larger look at the patterns. Okay, thank you for joining us. We're going to head into a short break. On the other side of the break, we are switching tracks altogether.